Welcome to our countdown of the top 10 conspiracies that turned out to be true. Get ready to be amazed as we reveal the hidden truths behind some of the most controversial events in history. Government mind control experiments? Absolutely. Secret alien investigations? You bet. These aren't just rumors, they're verified facts. Stay tuned, because what you're about to discover is not for the faint-hearted. Alright, let's get one thing straight. Conspiracy theories are usually the stuff of late-night forums, sketchy websites, and your weird uncle at family gatherings. But every now and then, the skeptics are forced to eat their words because turns out some of these wild ideas are totally legit. So without further ado, here are 10 conspiracy theories that turned out to be 100% true. We're kicking things off with something straight out of a sci-fi movie, MK Ultra. Yeah, it sounds like the name of a gaming keyboard, but it was actually a CIA project in the 1950s and 60s aimed at, get this, mind control. Yup, the CIA was legit experimenting on people to figure out how to control their minds using drugs like LSD. Think Stranger Things, but real and without the monsters. Maybe. At first, it was brushed off as a wacky conspiracy, but in the 1970s, documents were declassified proving it was very real. They tested on unwilling subjects, often without their knowledge. So, next time you think your coffee's too strong, just remember, at least it's not laced with government-grade hallucinogens. Coming in at number 9 is a conspiracy so wild that even the US president said, nope, too far. This one's called Operation Northwoods, and in the 1960s, the US military planned to stage fake terrorist attacks on their own citizens. Why? To blame it on Cuba and justify a war. They were talking about hijacking planes, sinking boats, and even blowing stuff up, all to make it look like Cuba was the bad guy. But JFK wasn't having it, and the plan never went through. Yeah, thank goodness cooler heads prevailed, or else the world would have been an even bigger mess. Now, not all conspiracies are as cloak and dagger as secret spy missions. Sometimes they're just straight-up tragedies. In 1932, the U.S. Public Health Service started a study in Tuskegee, Alabama, where they studied African American men with syphilis, without ever treating them. Even after a cure, penicillin, became widely available, these men weren't given the treatment. Instead, they were left to suffer just so researchers could observe the effects of untreated syphilis. This wasn't uncovered until 1972, and by then, hundreds had died or suffered complications. So yeah, sometimes the worst conspiracies are the ones where people in power just don't care. Okay, back to the political side of things. You can't talk conspiracies without mentioning Watergate. It's the original political scandal. The reason every scandal ever since has had a gate slapped on the end. Deflategate, Pizzagate, you name it. Here's the deal. In 1972, people suspected President Nixon's campaign was up to no good, spying on political opponents. Well, turns out that was an understatement. Nixon's crew broke into the Democratic National Committee headquarters and wiretapped phones. Once the cover-up was exposed, Nixon became the first US president to resign. So next time someone says, it's just politics, remind them of this. Moving on to something with a deceptively sunny name, Project Sunshine. Sounds nice, right? Maybe a solar energy initiative? Nope. It was actually a secret program where the US government was stealing dead bodies to study the effects of nuclear radiation. Yeah, without permission, they were snatching body parts from deceased people, including kids, and using them for research. This wasn't a creepy rumor. It was confirmed in declassified documents in the 90s. It's one of those, I can't believe it, but I kind of can moments. The next conspiracy on our list. COINTELPRO. This FBI program ran from 1956 to 1971. And its goal? Disrupt and discredit civil rights leaders, activists, and political groups. Think people like Martin Luther King Jr. Yep, the FBI had him under surveillance and actively tried to destroy his reputation. COINTELPRO was meant to suppress radical movements like the Black Panthers and anti-Vietnam War protesters. It wasn't until 1971 that the program was exposed, showing just how far the government was willing to go to keep control. This one's a bit like a game of international telephone that went horribly wrong. The Iran-Contra affair. In the 1980s, it came out that the US government was selling weapons to Iran, which at the time was definitely not on our Christmas card list, to fund rebel groups in Nicaragua, known as the Contras. Congress had said, no more funding, but the Reagan administration basically went, nah, we'll do it anyway. It became one of the biggest scandals of the decade, proving that, yeah, sometimes your government is up to some seriously shady stuff. Now for a conspiracy that literally reshaped the world, the Manhattan Project. During World War II, a secret group of scientists worked to build the world's first atomic bomb under the noses of just about everyone. Even some top politicians didn't know it was happening. The project was so secret that entire towns were built around it, and most of the workers had no clue what they were actually working on. Spoiler alert, it worked, and well, we all know how that turned out. Yep, that John Lennon. Turns out the FBI was not a fan of the Beatles' lead singer, mainly because of his anti-war stance. They monitored him closely in the 1970s, even trying to deport him. The FBI saw Lennon as a political threat. Imagine getting deported just for singing "Give Peace a Chance." And finally, at number 1, the Pentagon Papers. In 1971, a massive leak revealed that the US government had been lying to the public about the Vietnam War for years. Turns out, they knew the war was unwinnable, but kept sending troops anyway. This bombshell led to protests and a major distrust in the government that still echoes today. So, next time someone calls you a conspiracy theorist, just remember, sometimes the craziest theories are the ones that turn out to be true. Which of these conspiracies blew your mind the most? Let me know in the comments, hit that subscribe button, and remember, trust no one.